Morning, happy Saturday.
Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Saturday,
Morning, happy Saturday.
happy Saturday. How's everyone's week?
This week was great. I watched a bunch of manifestation videos. I saw with Neville Goddard. I saw the purpose behind the word lucky, and it just opened my eyes. It really opened my eyes. What did he say? It's basically like a decision that you walk into. The word lucky, like I don't want to say it the wrong way, but there was a video from Neville, and he broke down the history of that word and the power behind that word and how we choose luck. It's not something that it's just given to us. It's something that we just decide. And so when I thought about that, I was like, Coach Lucky chose this name, and I understand why. Like, it's power in that word, and that was really cool.
Okay. Well, a lot of things happen before we even are aware of. A lot of things have been set in motion before we're even conscious of it ourselves. And so I know I've always been called lucky just because my dad and I have the same name. So, same first name. So I've always been called lucky. So I didn't know my name wasn't until probably, I don't know, second grade or something. Young element. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. How was your week, Coach?
Oh man, everything's good. Everything.
Awesome.
Yes, everything is good. Thank you. Sarita, how you doing?
Living the dream.
There you go.
Living the dream. You ever heard of Bashar?
Yes.
Okay. So I listen to him quite often. I follow the page that follows him or kind of goes all around, and he often talks about, following your bliss, following your joy. It's like five things. You have to follow your bliss, follow your joy. And if you're going in the direction of that, you're going in the wrong direction. But he also talks about, like, if something comes up that you don't like, that's uncomfortable, don't take on that emotion of being like, I don't like it. I don't take on the emotion of what lesson, what am I supposed to get from this? This is all working out for me. So yeah,
Yeah, I like Bashar.
yeah.
I like Bashar.
He channels. I that's so interesting.
Yeah, 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 I like Bashar. Yeah, he says a lot of good stuff that I have learned from, that I learned from. Just to your point, being able to hear different, as long as it's the truth, right? Being able to hear it from different directions allows you
Hmm.
to round out your understanding of the truth. And it allows you to have more ways than one to reach your desired end. More
Mm.
to control yourself, more than one way to remember how to think, more than one way to, it gives you just more tools because certain
Hmm.
situations make you feel more emotion than others. Certain make you feel, let's just say, more fear than others. Like certain things, and so just having more ways to remember who you are, essentially, right? And to act from that awareness of who you are really does make all the difference. But yeah,
Mm.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 like sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good stuff.
Another real quick announcement because I'm gonna have to hop off once I get to Gavin's game. I'm gonna have to hop off, but I will be 40 on Tuesday, and I could not be more excited that I even made it to 40. Like, I'm over the moon grateful that I made it this far. I wanted to share, especially in the community, the growth between 39 and 40 has been tremendous, and it had a lot to do with these calls and with this community. So I did want to put that win out there.
Mm. Well, definitely, congratulations, congratulations, and you, and if somebody if somebody wins, if somebody like wins a race, they call them what?
The winner.
Winner. So for someone to, they had to have already be
A winner.
Winner. We already are things. We just use physical things to reinforce what we already are. If you go to a game and you're watching Gavin's game, or if you go to a basketball, if you go to a game, whoever won was already going to win. I don't mean by fate, but I mean by you didn't get better than the team when you got there. You were already better or worse when you arrived. That's why there's betting odds, right? People already assume one team is better than the other before they get there. So if you run a race and you win, they call you a winner. But you had to be a winner before you ran the race in order to win, right? So if we would actually take the identity of being a winner before we started something, we would see winning more often. But a lot of times we take on the identity of a loser trying to win. And that is why winning feels like luck, or winning feels like gambling. It feels uncertain and unsure, because we are uncertain and unsure about who we are before we even run the race. Then we use the race as justification for how we feel. So we'll say, man, I knew it. Oh, I knew this would happen, right? So I'm about to say, whether you consider yourself a winner because of, like you said, reaching your age the next year, or whether you consider yourself a winner because you won a race, or because you accomplished any desire you have. The only reason you could ever accomplish it is because you already were it. So it's not the lack of being what we are, it's the lack of the awareness of who we are, to the point of what Sarita was saying as far as the star. Like, it is talking, like he always talks about, follow your bliss, right? So yeah, like, all right, yeah, I know who my man is, for sure, right? It is the race doesn't make you anything. All it's doing is revealing to you who you believe yourself to be, right? So if you believe yourself to be your desired end, then the race is just a conduit to which this is the thing that you use to express who you already are, right? So just always think about it that way. If you won the race, they called you the winner. If you are the winner, then that means in order for you to win that race, you already had to be the winner before you ran the race.
Right.
So you didn't become something if you weren't ready. But if you were to say it this way, what you became is aware of what you were already believing yourself to be. And a lot of times our physical world doesn't make sense because we're trying to compare it to what we think, but we're not always aware of what we're really thinking, the depth of it or the breadth of it. Yeah, I have this thought of I'm healthy, or I have this thought of I'm wealthy, but that thought that you're talking about that 10-minute affirmation tape you did. You're not talking about the 23 hours and 50 minutes that you didn't, right? So you can have two things, but you don't get what you want, you get who you are. And who you are is who you are most dominantly, who you are the majority of the day, right? So I say it this way. I use this example with a lot of athletes that I have, especially the basketball players. So I'm like, okay, if you got an A on a test, right? What percentage is that? What would you say? If you got an A on a test, what percentage is that?
It depends on whether or not it's 100, 95, 96.
Right. So it's a range, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be,
Mm-hmm.
it could be, let's just say conservatively, between 90 and 100 is an A.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get anywhere in there and get the same grade, right? So when I'm using it with basketball players, I'm like, so as long as your shot is within the range, the ball will go in. It may rim in and out and go back in. It may hit the rim and bounce around for a minute, but if it's within range, it will go in eventually, right? 100% immediately, and each step you take back toward 90, it may take a little longer, but it will still go in, right? It's the same thing. Your dominant thoughts are like your range. If you're in the 90 to 100 range, a 90 to 100% range, meaning this is what I dominantly think, then the ball is going to go in. Then your desired end is going to show up because that's what you're dominantly thinking. The 10% of the time when you get into a mood or you're upset or that's the 10%. That's fine. That's just you having a human experience, so to speak. So you're reacting. That's okay. But it's your dominant thought that allows you, that is really what shows up in your world. The things you think the most, that you keep repeating the most. So 90 to 100 is an A. So essentially, you don't really care which one you got as long as it's in the range to get the letter you wanted, right? So it's the dominant thought is your range. That's the range you're in, right? And as long as you're in that range, you're going to get the same grade. You don't have to be 100% to get an A. Ball doesn't have to go in right away for it to count. It just has to go in, right? So it's the same thing. Well, wonderful. Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday. Good to see everyone today. Yes, yes, yes. Good to see everyone today. All right. You know, I was just explaining that, so let me kind of walk back through it again, because I think that's important. I think it's important. So just had, a wonderful message of, someone turning another year, and that is wonderful. And we have a connotative definition of luck, which we use, meaning a word we use to try to describe something we don't understand or something we're not really sure how it works. But just because we don't understand it or we're unsure of how it works doesn't mean it doesn't work a particular way. Doesn't mean it doesn't work a specific way. And if you can find out how it works, then you can work it every time and it will always work, right? So let me just literally walk back through what I was saying, because now there's more people on here. And I think it's a really good place to kind of start today. So if you are running a race and you win, right? You win the race. You win. So point one, you win. All right. So then point two, if you run the race, right? And if you run the race and you win, right? People, like I said, people call you a what?
Winner.
A winner. People call you a winner. Okay, number three then. So if you win the race and if you win and they call you a winner, so before you win, you had to run. But if you win, then who were you running as?
A winner.
Winner.
A winner. You had to be a winner to win. You cannot, the end can't be different than the beginning. So you already were a winner before you ran that race. But you use the race to reinforce your identity, whether it's one you know or whether it's one you don't. But it's still one you hold. It's still what you're believing yourself to be. That's the only reason you got the outcome, right? So if you run and you win, they call you a winner. So they call you in the end what you are aware of being, whether it is consciously or unconsciously. They call you in the end, right, a winner, which is what you were running as in the beginning. So you already are something. It's your lack of awareness, whether it be conscious or unconscious, it's your lack of awareness that really allows you to see it in physical form. You have to be aware of it, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. If it's not in your awareness, you cannot produce that. Because you didn't become a winner after you won. Because you could not have become a winner if you weren't one before you ran. You ran as a winner. You're always living life as an identity from a state of consciousness. And that state of consciousness is what people define you as after the activity is over. They call you in the end what you are believing yourself to be it consciously or unconsciously, before you start. You're running the race as a winner in order to win, which is why they call you a winner in the end. Right? You are living your life as something. And whatever you are defining yourself as, right, whatever people are defining you as, or whatever you're defining yourself as, is what you are is what you're doing from the beginning. It's who you're believing yourself to be before this whole thing got started. You're just using the end to reinforce that belief, that awareness of being. The end is the effect, it's not the cause, but it reinforces the cause. It reinforces the belief in the cause. The cause is consciousness. Whatever I think myself to be, I now express myself to be. That expression leads to an outcome, and the outcome reinforces my identity. So my identity, right? My identity, who I think I am, I use the physical world, a race or a job or a relationship. I use the physical world to express that because you can't see identity. Identity is invisible. You can't see it. I am. Well, nobody can see what I am is. I don't know what you're believing yourself to be. I don't know what, I can't see that. But based on who that is, right, you use this invisible thing to express yourself. The expression is visible. Identity, expression, outcome. The outcome is the combination of the invisible and the visible, right, made into form, into outcome, made into form. Right? So your identity is always expressing itself outwardly into physical form, which people call manifesting or manifestation. That's all it is. But your expression, your physical expression, what you're doing in, how you do it, all that stuff is coming from your identity. So your expression is second, your identity is first. So that is why when I talk to you all the time, you can't change your expression until you change your identity. Because your expression is only expressing your identity, what you're aware of being. But since you don't see your identity, it's invisible, you look at the visible, you look at the expression, and you think that's where it starts. So, do you know what actually this is a great example of? Identity, expression, outcome. Do you know what this is a great, actually just thinking about it now, do you know what this is a great example of?
So I would think identity, since it's invisible, would be more like faith, what you believe in.
Close. Close. Yeah, and it could be that too. That too. But what else? What is this an example of? Identity, expression, outcome.
Your thoughts, your mindset.
Okay.
Yeah, what we choose.
Okay. So I leave it like this because
Did you hear me?
big and kind of in big. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said manifestation.
Okay. Yeah, but what is manifestation? What is that?
Awareness.
The result of who you've been being.
Okay, so manifestation is the result. That's a good one. It's the result. It's not an independent thing. It's not like I'm trying to manifest. Manifestation is a result. So you're not trying because you're always getting results. You're always getting results. You just like them or you don't, but you don't have a problem getting results. You either have money or you don't. Both of those are results, right? You're either healthy or you're sick. Both of those are results. We don't have a manifestation problem. We don't have a result problem, right? So this is a great example of, but see, this is why I say it this way, this is why people don't get it, because they don't understand what it really is, and therefore they don't understand where it is. This example of the law of sowing and reaping. This is why most people don't identify it. Why is that? Because most people think sowing and reaping is physical. And most people think sowing starts in the physical because sowing is the visible. So humanity's tendency is to start with the visible because humanity is visible. I am is not. So humanity always starts things where it is as it is because that's all it is. It's physical. I am is not physical. It's invisible. It's not physical. So it starts things in consciousness. Humanity starts things visibly. So when we are talking about the law of sowing and reaping, we think we apply it to the visible form first, but that's not actually where it starts. What you're actually sowing, what are you actually sowing? So let's talk it through. What are you actually sowing? When you're sowing and reaping, what are you actually sowing?
Awareness.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, basically kind of the same thing. Your thought, your awareness, right? Your awareness or thought. You're sowing your awareness or thought. You're putting your identity into something. What you are aware of being, and what you're aware of being is how you think. So you're sowing that. So now you're sowing that into the expression, into the visible world. You're sowing this invisible thing, awareness and thought you can't see. So that's your identity. You're now putting your identity into a thing, into a job, into a relationship, into your business, into your health, into whatever it is you're talking about. You're saying, I want this thing an outcome. So I'm going to take my awareness or my thought, I'm going to take my identity and I'm going to put it into this conduit. I'm going to put it into this thing that's going to allow me to express what I am aware of or what I'm thinking. That's what you're sowing. That awareness or thought, right? So now it's almost like when you put gas in your car. You're sowing gas, right? Then you're putting it into your car so that you can use your car to get somewhere, right? So you're sowing, right? You're sowing your thought into this thing. Like I said, to a relationship, to your business, to your money, into getting a raise. You're sowing it into something for an outcome, for a physical form or manifestation, for a result. What you reap in outcome is based on the identity that you sowed in. The expression is just the avenue. It's just the street. It's just the conduit. It's just the means to the end. It's not the cause of the end. So when you're sowing, I want to go see my friend. The outcome is seeing your friend. That's the reaping. The sowing is the thought. I want to see my friend. The reaping is pulling up to their house, let's say. The expression, the thing in the middle, the conduit are the streets you take. They don't create the experience, meaning like they're not the cause of the experience. They're just the thing that you're using to cause the experience, to get to the outcome. So that's why when we were talking earlier about Bashar and things like that, when I said it's great to have, as long as everyone that you're listening to knows the truth, it's great to be able to listen to different types of people as long as they know the truth, because it will give you more ways to reach the same end. It'll give you more tools to deal with your consciousness, your awareness, and having an understanding of things. That's like if you want to get to your friend's house, it's like being able to get there 5 or 6 different ways instead of one. Because if they block the street off, then you're messed up, right? So if you can go around, if you can take the street, if you can take the freeway, if you can take being from Southern California and LA, like you have to know all the freeways and the streets, because there's 1,000 freeways and they're all crowded. So then you got to figure out all the streets around those if you want to get somewhere, right? So it's the same thing, but the streets are just the means that you're using. They're not the cause or the effect. They didn't come up with the idea and they're not the effect. They're just the means that you're using to make your idea a result, an outcome, a physical outcome, right? That's actually what sowing and reaping is. The reaping is a physical expression of the sowing, which is consciousness, which is your thought, your idea, your belief, what you're putting into something. But what happens is we end up putting our belief into the expression, right? And we start thinking the expression, praising the expression as God. We start worshiping the expression. But the expression is nothing without the identity. The identity is God. Your awareness, your thought, that is the Alpha and the Omega. That's the thing that's creating, and that's the thing that's going to be experiencing at the end. That is the thing. What I'm thinking, right? I am is the Lord. I am is the way. I am is the life. I am is the truth. Right? So that is your identity. Your identity is the way, the truth, and the life to get to your outcome. Your identity uses something. So it uses a person. You have an identity of, I want a relationship. I want to be a husband. I want to be a wife. I want to be a girlfriend. I want to be a boyfriend. I want to be, okay, that's your identity. I want to be. That's the awareness and the thought that you're possessing. So now you're using a person. The expression is a person in this case. You're using another person so that as you're passed through to get the outcome of who you say you wanted to be in the beginning. So the person that you're choosing or not choosing is a reflection of your thoughts or awareness or awareness. They are not independent of you. They are the thing that your awareness is choosing to express itself as it knows itself to be. So now when you said, I want to be this, now the outcome you say, I am this. Everything is about I am. Right? I am or I am not. Right now, when you first have an idea, right, or a thought, you are I am not. You are I am as I am not. I am all things, but I am not experiencing this thing. So now, since I want to experience this thing, I just rearrange my definition of myself. Okay, I want to be in a relationship. So now I am a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a spouse or a partner. I now am that. So my awareness of being now goes into a conduit, in this case, into a person, into a physical form that then shoots you out on the other side so that you can say, I am that. But now you're that in physical form. But the first place you became that is in identity. I am. And since you were I am that thing, that now goes into expression, spits you out on the other side so that the invisible and the visible are one. The two have become one flesh. So who you are is always what you're doing things from. You're always doing things from a state of mind, from a state of consciousness, of an awareness of being. So when you win a race, they call you a winner. But they called you a winner because you won. Well, in order for you to win, you had to run. So in order for you to win, you had to be running as a winner, which is why you win or why you won. You were already that before you got there. The race didn't make you anything. The race is just the place you got to express who you're being. And so people call you in the end what you called yourself, what you are aware of being, whether that be consciously or unconsciously. Consciously or unconsciously. Is still part of consciousness. It's just the part that's below the water, like a glacier where they say 85% of it or 90% of it is below the water. It's still the same part. It's still the same glacier that you see above the water. It's still part of the same thing. So your conscious mind and your unconscious mind are one. One is just visible, one is invisible, but they're still one. They're not different or separate, so to speak. They're still one. They have different functions, but they are still one thing. Right? So the key then is to run the race as a winner. The key then is to identify yourself as the person who has a partner, so that identity says, oh, I'm in a relationship. Well, what kind of relationship am I in? Who do I believe myself to be? How do I think relationships go for me? All of that is in your identity. All that identity goes into an expression, and it's going to introduce you to the person that physically expresses that identity. The invisible, the visible forms the outcome of all things. This goes for anything. Right? This is how it works. This is how creation works. So creation is finished, but you never stop creating. Meaning all things already exist, but you never stop creating in human form. Meaning you never stop choosing the next thing. You never stop putting food on your plate at the buffet. The buffet is finished, so to speak. They made the food, so to speak, and but you never stop eating. You never stop picking, right? Creation is finished, but you never stop creating in human form. You're always creating your experiences with your identity, with the awareness, the thoughts, the ideas that you are entertaining. Right? So the key then is to make sure that you are running the race as a winner before you run it. Because if you know you're a winner before you run it, you already know you won. So it's already done. You've declared the end from the beginning. And the winner, this is just the expression. Winner is just the expression. This is the thing, this is the outcome, this is the result. They're calling you the result of who you were before you ran, which is why you won. This is how everything works. Who are you before you start something? Who are you when you wake up? right? What does it say? What does it say in Genesis 1? It says what? It says in the beginning, what?
What's the word?
God created.
In the beginning, what's the next word?
God.
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 In the beginning of the race, there's you. In the beginning is you. In the beginning, God. After that, what's the next words?
Created the heavens.
Created the heavens and
And
earth. In the beginning is you. Now you're using things, what the heavens and the earth are expressions. They're expressions of God. The race is an expression of you. You're using this to express yourself. To express who you're being before you ran the race. God was in the beginning was God. In the beginning was not the heavens and the earth. In the beginning is not the race. So the race is not justifying you. The race is not making you anything. The relationship is not making you anything. It's not making you anything or preventing you from being anything. It's only the expression of who you have made yourself to be or preventing yourself from being. Because you were before it. So it can't make you. You made it. But you made it according to who you think you are or aren't. Your relationship is not helping you or hurting you. It's only expressing whether you are helping or hurting yourself. Your business, your health, your money is not helping you or hurting you. It's only the expression. You're only putting your identity into it. It's expressing who you are. But the reason we think it's helping or hurting me is because this is the first time we can see it visibly. So then we think it's real. That's why we think sowing and reaping is real. And we think it's here. We think it's in the visible form. So this is where we work real hard. We work real hard in the expression form. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to get another job. I'm going to buy extra flowers. I'm going to be extra nice. We're trying to control the equation from the wrong part of it. The control comes from the identity because the expression doesn't have its own control. It's expressing identity. It doesn't have its own say. Free will lies in identity. It does not lie in expression. Free will lies in identity. Expression has no choice. It doesn't have a choice. The outcome doesn't either, because the outcome is the end, and the end is attached to the beginning. The beginning and the end are one. So if the beginning is winning, then what do you think the end is?
winning for sure.
What other outcome could there be?
No other.
Right? What does it say? What does it say? I am God.
And there is no other.
And there is no other. Identity, I am. Outcome, no other. There is no other outcome than what I am is when this whole equation first started. You can predict your future literally by looking at what you think. You can see what you're thinking by literally looking at what you see. It's the physical outcome of what you've been thinking long enough for it to become physical form, for it to become, as Monique said, the results. All you're looking at are your results. That's all you're looking at. They're not good, bad, right, or wrong. They're your results. And if they're your results, you can change them by choosing a different identity that will go into a different expression and have a different outcome. The results are not inevitable, and the results are not detached. They don't have a life of their own. Your outcomes do not have a life of their own. The end can't be different than the beginning. So the end is the beginning that finished. The beginning is the end that will finish. They are linked inextricably. The expression is just the medium, it's just the thing that you go through to get it. Right? You have the light switch, that's the beginning. You have the light coming on, that's the end. The electricity is the middle, is the expression. You flip the switch to get the electricity to come on, and the light comes on. The electricity doesn't have any say. It's just the thing that you're going to use to turn the light on. But you use the electricity by flipping the switch. Right? Okay, questions on that before I move on?
I did have a question, but I think you just answered it when you said expression has no choice.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if I'm identifying myself as a rich person, then I'm expressing it by my behaviors and the things that I'm doing and my ways of being as a rich person. Is that the expression?
Yes, all of your physical action expresses your identity. All of it.
Oh, thank you.
Right? Because that's all it does. It has no independence. Your expression has no independence beside that's all it's there for, so to speak. Right? A canvas is a place for a painter to express themselves. So if someone were a painter, how would you know if they didn't have a canvas? Right? But the canvas doesn't care what you put on it. It's just the conduit. It's just the means for you to express yourself through. Right? And then the painting comes out on the other side. Painter uses the canvas and the painting is the outcome. Right? Once you understand that, then you understand how to create, not that you create your own reality, how to do that. Because there's a difference between the two. Everybody can tell you create your own reality. It's true. You do create all your physical outcomes by what you are thinking and feeling and believing to be true. Whether you're aware of what you're thinking or knowing or feeling or believing to be true or not. The law doesn't care about that. It is always working, and it is working with what you know or what you don't know that you know. Meaning what you are believing or what you don't even realize you're believing. But the race is just showing you whether you're a winner or not. The canvas is showing you whether you're a painter or not. It doesn't make you a winner or a painter. Your expression doesn't make you anything. It's just showing you who you are. It's just the means to the end. The street doesn't make your car better or worse. It doesn't put more or less gas in it, right? It's just the thing that you're using with the amount of gas you have in it, with who you're being. Right? Was there a question? No? Okay. All right. So, will you pull up? I'm going to do this.
Someone said in the chat, how do we choose our identity without walking in pride and ego? Like, how do we know if we chose the right identity or not? Erica.
Know that, first of all, because it's your choice. Number one. Number two, what does it say? Whatever you desire when you pray, believe you have received it and you will. Whatever you desire. It's literally whatever you desire. It's not, it is your brain and your ego only have a problem with identifying with something it isn't. That's why we fight things, right? That we want, and we fight ourselves because our brain is fighting our mind. Our mind is the brain of I am. It sees everything. It's omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. It knows everything. Our brain is part of our human body, so it's limited. It doesn't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. So that's why your identity is the most important thing. Yourself, your concept of yourself is the most important thing, because that is what's determining what you agree with and what you don't, what you think is possible for you and what you don't. And so that is why you can try to express yourself as a millionaire, but if you think you are poor or it's hard out here or there's hard times or you got to do this or that, that is what's going to be shown to you, not what you want, because that's not what you're believing to be true for you. What you think to be true for you dominantly is what happens. That is what you are producing in physical form. That's what it means when it says you create your own reality. So you have to choose what is it you want. That's what who else is supposed to choose for you? Who else has a better idea for you about you than you? And whoever that is, you're always going to have to abide by. You're always going to have to listen to. You're always going to have to hope is around. Right? And that's okay when we're young people, but as we get older, that is part of our freedom. Our freedom is the ability to be able to choose whether we go to McDonald's every day or not. Some of the things we did when we were a little kid that we swore we would do, we don't do now. Because now we're in a position where we can do things, but we also realize that we're responsible for the things we do. So if we feel like we can't manage that, whether it's financially or whether it's physically or whatever else it is, we do the things that we can manage because we're responsible. We realize we're responsible for that. Right? So if you have a desire in your heart to do or be or have something, why not? Right? Why not? So you choose. All right. I did this a little bit yesterday, but we're going to say this. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we definitely need a new marker.
All right. I am broke. What, for those of you, I think we went over this a little bit in the group yesterday, so you guys can't answer, but everyone else, I am broke. What is this? What is this statement?
Sarita put in the chat, no thank you.
When you know better, right? What is this statement?
A declaration.
Okay.
We have in the chat a limited belief.
A what?
Limited belief.
What is it limiting?
Oh, Auntie Shaky put a creation statement.
Okay.
Candace put it's calling things upon yourself, putting out that energy.
Okay. We say this all the time. This is, will you please pull up the first slide?
Yeah.
This is, what do they always say? They say, don't take.
Offense.
Don't take it personal.
Okay. What else they say? Ooh, they say, ooh, don't take the.
Auntie Shaky put my money.
Don't this, when you say I am broke, you are literally taking the Lord's name in vain. What does it say right here? You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. All right. So the Lord's name on here is what? What is it? What is the Lord's name on here?
I am.
I am the Lord. So you're saying the Lord is broke. Is that true? Would that be true?
No.
No. So that's taking the name's Lord, the Lord's name in vain, right? Because the Lord is I am. Broke means you are taking the Lord, which is I am, which people call God, creator, universe, whatever you want, that and saying, and you're taking that name like it's fruitless, like it means nothing. So you're taking the Lord's name in vain. But what does it say? You shall not misuse. But misuse is still use.
Should I pull up the meaning? Because you did that yesterday first for vain.
I mean, it's just fruitless, pointless, like it has no meaning, like it doesn't matter. That's all vain means, right? Unprofitable, fruitless, producing no good result, right? Feeble, like it doesn't do anything. So you're saying that you're saying the Lord is so useless that you're broke. That who you are is so inept, incompetent, incapable, you're broke. So that is using the Lord's name in vain. You are using, but you are misusing. But you're still using the Lord your God. And what does it say? The Lord is no what?
Respecter of persons.
Respecter of persons. Death and life.
And the power of your
Power of
tongue.
the tongue.
So it's no respecter of persons. and death and life are all here in I am, and you put broke with all that at risk, let's just say. With all that you put into it, you put broke at the end. You put sick at the end. You put sick and tired at the end. You put misunderstood at the end. You're putting all these things at the end of the most powerful awareness in nature, in the universe. You're putting all these things after it that you don't want to experience. But what does it say? You will not be held blameless. You can't. Ignorance of the law is
Bliss?
No excuse.
no excuse.
Excuse.
No excuse. I didn't know. I didn't mean it. Well, I didn't think that. I would have never thought that. You were using it. You just misused it. You took the Lord's name in vain. You literally took I am, which is what you say about yourself every day. You preface it in every area of your life. I am this, I am that. I am not this, I am not that. You are literally using the law all day. You are literally creating your reality by using the law all day. And you're putting broke behind it, sick behind it, instead of rich behind it, wealth behind it, instead of success behind it, or whatever else it is. You're taking the Lord's name in vain, and you will not be held blameless for that. You're not going to get away from that. It's not a punishment. It's not a judgment. It's an outcome. When you pray, don't you want God to answer? You know, you're like, okay, well then you're praying. When you say you're announcing yourself. I am. I am. God is. So when you say I am broke, you're saying let there be broke. It's the same thing as saying let there be light. You're saying let there be. When you're saying I am, you're saying I already am. I'm already aware of being what I'm fin to say. Yeah. What I'm fin to say, what I'm fixing to say, what I'm about to say. Yeah, right? I'm already aware of being that. That's why it doesn't matter whether you say it or not. Yes, it does matter. You shouldn't. But that's why it doesn't matter whether you say it or not. You shouldn't say it. Once you catch yourself, stop yourself. Don't let it come out your greasy lips. But the fact that you're aware of it, you have to catch yourself in your awareness and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me not say that, but also let me dig that out. Let me take that out. Let me change my mind. Let me tell myself something different, because you're aware of being it. That's what I am is, aware. So I am is saying I'm aware of being. I'm in a state of broke is a state of being. That's why you can get in it and get out of it. Success is a state of being. You can get in it and get out of it. And neither one of them can make you be it. They're not living things. They're things that you make alive when you step into them as the awareness of all things. I'm aware of all things, so I choose broke. I'm aware of all things, so I choose rich. But broke or rich can't come upon you. They don't break your door down and be like, ha, I'm here. Right? They're things that you step into, whether you're using it or misusing it. This is how this goes. This is how this works. You have to know who you are before you run the race. You have to know who you are before you start the business. You have to know who you are. Now, a lot of us, when we started this race called humanity, even when we started businesses, years ago or whatever, we didn't necessarily know then what we know now. That's fine. We're not talking about the past like that. We're talking about understanding the law so that you can operate it in the present. You have to know it is in your best interest to know who you are before you run the race, before you start your business. It's going to ensure and guarantee your success. It's going to be a lot better and a lot easier than if you don't, or you're trying to figure it out along the way. That's what makes parenting so hard. Because even if you're pregnant, you're still not a parent yet until the baby comes out and you're at the hospital by yourself and you're like, oh shoot, I don't have any more help. I got to figure this out. There's no rule book. There's no binder. There's no college you can go to. There's no certification. There's no nothing. You got to figure it out. That's what makes it more challenging than anything else we do in human form, because there is no standard. 2 + 2 is 4 for everybody. You call your friend and be like, yeah, Auntie Shaky, what time does your son go to bed? She's like 10. I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking she's going to say 7:30. So what am I going to do now? My kid wants to stay up till 9:30. She said, but I'm like, well, she's a good mother. So I'm thinking whatever she said, I can probably vibe with. But 10? Oh, I'm sleep by 10. So then all we can do, all we're getting is advice from each other. There's no absolute standard in parenting. We're all doing it, right? Subjectively from our own experience, knowledge, wisdom, intelligence, resources, and whatever, right? But the law is 2 + 2. The law is 4 every time. The outcome is guaranteed every time once you understand how to use the law, what it is and how to use it, how to choose your thoughts, because then you're choosing your life, you're choosing your world, you're choosing your result, right? But a lot of times we will not tell ourselves something. We won't tell ourselves something because we haven't seen it. But we don't realize that everything we see is because we've already told ourselves that. We just may have forgotten when we did it. And this is, well, I'm going to go into something else I went into this week. This is why we talk about, this is why, all right. So most of us here have businesses. And most of us don't really understand what those are, so we don't really understand how to get off with it and how to get off with them. There is a concept that you have to understand if you want to, let me say it this way. Most people that have businesses everyone is an owner, right? But most people operate their ownership as earners. They don't operate as owners, they operate as earners. And those are two different things. So instead of having an ownership, you really are operating as an earnership. You are legally the owner, but you operate it as an earner. And there's a difference. So let's talk about it. So if you're an owner and let's say you have a construction company, let's say you have a construction company. So let's say you decide you want to drill a couple things today. You want to hit a couple hammers and some nails, and you want to do what you do. So when you're out there as the owner and you're on your site working, who are you? People in the group can't answer.
You're the worker, the employee?
People in the group, did you hear that?
Yes.
People, see, you aren't crazy. Everybody says the same thing. When you're working, so you're saying now you're the employee. All right. So somebody comes up to your work site and says, hey, stop. What are you guys doing? Oh, we're building some condos. We're building a house. Okay, great. Well, who is the owner? Then who are they looking for?
They're looking for me.
No, but you're not. That you're the employee.
It's like a 2-in-1 deal?
There's no 2-in-1 deal. Does the IRS think it's a 2-in-1 deal?
Shaky put in the chat the creator of the project.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
The developer?
What does that mean?
Once you assume the position of owner, the embodied owner, you're always the owner, regardless of what you're doing.
You're always the owner. But this is what I said. Most people have ownership, but they operate their business as an earnership. Because if you're working, yes, but you're still the owner. You're still working as the owner. If you decide never to go to the site, who are you?
The owner.
Erica, who are you?
Yes, the owner.
So whether you work or don't work, who are you?
The owner.
So then you working or you not working has no bearing on whether you are the.
The owner.
Okay. So then just because you start working, you don't change your identity of who you are. Why? Because you made a personal decision to do that, but the law didn't. The IRS is still going to send you the paperwork to pay the taxes, right?
Right.
Insurance is still going to be in your name, right?
Right.
The name of the company is still going to be under you, right?
Right.
So you sweating with a gavel and a hammer and some nails, does that change who you are?
No.
So why did you change it? But do you see what I watch? Now, the earners, those are your employees. The employee's value is based on their what?
Production.
Okay, what's another word for that?
Their impact.
How?
Effort.
What's another word for that?
Contribution.
What's another word for that?
Value.
How do you see if an employee is valuable or not?
Their ethic.
What they bring to the table.
What is that?
Work.
What is that? Labor. What they're doing. Have you ever heard somebody say have you ever been an entrepreneur? And Auntie Shaky, I did see your hand. And so I'll call you in a second. So if you can talk. But have you ever, as a owner, have you ever said, not literally, but in theory, have you ever said, I'm not paying you to sit around? Have
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
There we go. Yes. There are people on here? Yes. Okay. Now, can the employee say the same thing to you? Erica, I'm not paying you to sit around.
No.
But you said you were an employee because you're working. If you're doing the same thing they're doing, why can't they say the same thing to you?
Oh, heck no.
But they're not paying me.
Okay, but you said you're the employer. You said you're the employee. So they are. So then you're, even if they're not, you're equal. Do you see how you took this ownership and you took it down? By just because you re-identified yourself because you're doing something that they're doing. But just because you're doing something they're doing doesn't make you who they are. So then what makes an employee, what makes earners who they are is their labor. What makes owners who they are is what? What's the difference between an owner and an earner?
Ownership.
What is that? What is the difference?
Who they're being, who they believe themselves to be.
Yeah, but
Their titles. Their titles.
Huh?
Their titles.
Okay, but so your title is so if you had the biggest title, well, along with that title comes what?
Responsibility.
Responsibility.
So your level of responsibility is based on your what?
Your role.
Identity.
Your role, your identity, those are based on your what?
Consciousness.
Which means what?
Your beliefs.
It's based on your ability to think. Who sets the plan? Who sets the plan? This person. Who set the business? This person. Who is it the one? You're not justified by your labor. You're justified not even by your labor or your presence. You don't ever have to be on the site. You don't ever have to swing a hammer or nail a nail. Your whole thing is it is your conscience. It's your thinking. It is your ability it's your vision. It is this. This is what makes an owner. separate from an earner. An earner is you are justified by your labor. You're justified by how hard you work. You're justified by how many hours you put in. When you're owner of a business, when is it not your business?
It's always your business.
So then, but how is it always your business? Where?
Everywhere, all the time.
No, where is it your business?
Where?
Where?
In your mind.
In your mind. When your boy's swinging the hammer and the nails and it's 5 o'clock on Friday, 5:08 on Friday, is it still their business? Are they still there?
Can you repeat that?
So the labor, when it's 5:08 p.m. on Friday, is it still where they are? Are they still thinking about this?
No.
No. Because labor gets off. Labor has off days. Labor has off hours. My mom had child care centers for years. And I remember her saying something. She said, when they're young, they're on your hands. And when they're older, they're in your heart. Your business it doesn't have to do it doesn't have anything to do with your hands, really. It has everything to do with your heart, everything to do with your consciousness, your awareness of being. That is what ownership is. That is the value. This is where you justify yourself. This is where you are either winning or losing as an owner. As an earner, your labor does that. If you can't earn your value, show yourself valuable, but you can only do that through labor. How do we know? If you have at that construction site and you have the workers, how many houses can a worker build to take over your business?
Zero?
None is no amount.
There's no amount of labor that makes you an owner. So while you're out there wearing your butt out, you're not, that doesn't make you an owner inherently. Right? An owner is not justified by their labor. Only labor is justified by the labor. Only earners are justified by labors. Owner is justified by consciousness, by your ability to think. Vision, your awareness, your identity. That is what makes an owner. That is what justifies an owner. You don't ever have to see an owner. How many people that work for American Airlines know the owner? Kick it with the owner, hang with the owner. They don't ever have to see him. That has nothing to do with their check. They're laboring, they're doing what they're told. Hey, you got to wear these gloves now. You got to put them on. Hey, we got to change your schedule. You got to change that. You are justified, employed, or fired based on your labor and your ability. As an owner, you are justified by consciousness. It is a thought game. Now, with that consciousness, with that thought game, you may say, you know what? In my thinking properly, I realize today I need to help out. Or I realize today I want to go over there and check out my business. Or I realize today I need to hire some people. But all that comes from your thinking. And the better you do it, the better you'll know when to execute the physical. Labor is only physical. That's its justification. That is its place. Ownership may use physicality as a result of its understanding of being an owner. So as an owner, yeah, you take out the trash if you need to. As an owner, yeah, you sweep the floors. You're the owner. You probably take more pride in it than anybody. But that doesn't make you not the owner. I've said it before, my mom owns several different properties, and she'll be somewhere picking up some trash or throwing something in the dumpster, wearing a headband and some sweats, and people who've never seen her will say, oh, do you own this place? Do you own this place? It's not what she's wearing. It's not, she's a woman, she's Black, and is in a strip mall. She has several strip malls and things like that, and people just never seen her. I've been there, never seen her. Seen me, seen her, seen my dad, and they'll ask her first. Because she's the owner. In consciousness, she's the owner, and she knows she's the owner. So just because she's picking up some trash, she's picking up trash as the owner. She never goes down to the employee. That is why your business gets capped, because you stop you're not thinking as an owner. You're not operating as an owner, even though you own. You're operating as an earner in an ownership position. So you're capping yourself. You're not thinking at the level. That's what ownership is thinking at a different level. It's not physical. It may be applied physically, but it's not physical. And the first place we go, as soon as you're swinging a hammer, you go from owner to employee. Every time I ask somebody this question, everybody says the same thing. Okay, I'm sorry, Auntie Shaky, I know you asked me a question 15 minutes ago.
He said 15 minutes ago. So my question is, you asked if someone came on, you're on the site, with the nail and hammer, the construction site, and somebody comes up and they ask for the owner. I mean, I guess I'm just confused because I don't own that site. I can't say, yeah, you're looking for me, because you're not. You're looking for the developer or something like that. I guess I don't know how to. I was confused on how to answer that question.
Okay, so let me use a different example. So say you're the owner of a Subway, and you own the Subway. And so one day you just want to go down there and make some sandwiches, or one day, let's say two of your workers called out sick, and you're like, you know what? I need to get over there because I don't have enough employees yet, or the other people don't come on shift until later. So let me go for a couple hours and make a couple sandwiches, right? So you're doing that as the owner because you understand that you don't have enough employees to cover for that morning, for that day, for that moment. So you're doing it as the owner. You're not going there because you're the employee. That's why the employees called off sick. That's why the employees couldn't come, because they're not the owner. They only offer labor. But you are thinking about not only taxes, insurance, you're thinking about products, supplies, but you also have to think about the labor. You're overlooking the labor. So when you are overseeing the labor, so when you see labor is short, it's almost like supplies being short. Then you step in to offer something, to reorder, or you step in to offer your labor because you're the owner, you see the big picture. Labor only sees its job, its role. So you go down there and you're making sandwiches. And no matter, you're making sandwiches as the owner. You're only there because you're the owner. You're there because you're aware that you need to have a physical presence in this moment in order to keep your vision moving forward, because you are the owner. Right?
Okay.
Hey, this one. All right, you said.
I completely
Yeah, you stay
understand
hydrated.
all of that. I think I misunderstood the example. So yes, I completely understand that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when you go in now as the Subway owner, yes, you're physically doing something, but your state of mind never changes. You're looking at your environment as the owner. You're looking at, there's trash on the ground. You're looking at how much money you make. You're looking to see how much supply you have left. You're looking to see, you're always there in a different state of mind than just the laborer. And what I'm trying to impress upon everybody is that the reason most people's business has a hard time expanding or growing or scaling is because as soon as they get involved in whatever way, they detach themselves from who they really are, from their actual value of their presence in this situation. You are the owner. That means you are not the soul, but you are the supreme thinker. You're the person that this has to you're the one that has to oversee everyone and everything. Some things you get into physically, some you don't. You have meetings with people, you have all these different things, but you're never down to where the owner is. The earner, they're only thinking about, well, I'm on, I'm off, well, I'm about to take my break. But as an owner, you don't think that way. As an owner, you're never off, right? Even if you're physically off the site or off the building, you're always thinking about the building, the site, the business. Right? So that is your value to your business as an owner, is your ability to think. Based on that, it may cause you to act here and there. You may show up somewhere physically. You may make a sandwich. You may swing a hammer. That's fine, but it never makes you the employee. But that is what happens to 99% of people, is as soon as they get involved in whatever way, they start identifying themselves as something they're not. So now guess what? Everybody's an employee. So where's the owner? So then who's thinking? Who's actually thinking about how this is going or how it's going to go next, when everybody's the employee, because we justify ourselves by working, but only labor justifies by working. Ownership justifies by thinking. You have to have a different level of consciousness. So that's why your titles rise as your awareness of thinking, your ability to think rises. As your ability to think rises, it makes you more responsible. And as you become more responsible, you become more profitable. People will pay you more as you're able to be more responsible in your role and whatever that is, right? So this is what I mean when I say there's a difference between ownership and earnership. They're not against each other, but they're different levels of awareness. That's why that's why I say it that way, the law doesn't stop you from paying taxes. So if you were swinging that hammer or making those sandwiches for 6 hours, you still got to go home and do the books. You still got to pay the taxes, but the earners don't. They're off. But you go home and you're still doing all the same things that you have to do as the owner, even though you were operating you were working with the earners. You were working with them, but that doesn't make you them. No matter how long you work, you're not them. And no matter how hard they work, they never become the owner in that situation. It doesn't matter how many sandwiches they make. It doesn't matter how many nails they swing or hit. So labor doesn't rise to ownership on pure labor. And ownership does not turn into earnership just on pure labor. One is supposed to be thinking, and the other one's supposed to be executing the thought. The earners execute, you create. That's the difference between the two. And if you want your business to rise, you have to be able to differentiate what you're doing. If you're the owner, you're always the owner. That means you always have to be thinking, even if that thought means you get involved. But you get involved as the owner, not the earner. So that it's a reflection of your continued growth, right? To whatever degree you want, right? But you can never think as the earner just because you got a hammer in your hand. Then ownership is nowhere to be found. Leadership is nowhere to be found. Right? It's like taking your hands off the wheel and closing your eyes. It's only a matter of time for this crash come. Because all the earners act differently than the owners. It's just a different state. They're different states of mind, of consciousness, different states of responsibility. Right? They're different states of existence. Right? That's why it's so important. So that's why I said when you start a business or when you start a race, who you think you are before you start it is how it's going to go. And while it's going, a lot of us are making changes about who we think we are in midstream, realizing that, man, you can only work so long. You can only work so hard. At some point, you have to start thinking better so that you can execute better and not wear out your behind because you're not using your mind. Even when you're laboring, you can figure out how to do it in a way that's advantageous for yourself. You tell yourself, I always know what I'm doing. I always make the best choices, right? This is easy work for me. You start telling yourself, right? Because that omniscience, that awareness of being that's in you knows how to do everything effortless and easy. That's why it says my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Right? Labor, yes, can be physically exerting. I've done construction before. I understand it. Right? Wasn't that good at it, but I lifted enough to understand it, nailed enough things to understand it, stood up on a roof in the rain to understand it. Right? But so even though it's physical and it's hard, there's still people who are better at it. But better isn't the body, better isn't the nail of the hammer, better is wisdom, so you're always increasing in your mind. And when you increase in your mind, it allows you to use your body in a more effective, efficient way. Right? That's the way that works. So ownership versus earnership. You have to think about which one of these you're actually doing. Just because you're making the sandwiches doesn't make you an employee. Right? But a lot of times it does. A lot of times it makes us shift our awareness and we start thinking differently and we miss the vision. We miss where we're going, right? Because we're physically involved, right? Okay. Questions, comments on that before I move forward?
I was just saying, I dropped it in the chat, like being an owner is much like being a parent. You can never become the child, no matter how old you are. And even though they say, like, when you get older, your children take care of you, you are still the parent, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So being an owner is like being a parent.
Mm-hmm. And
you never switch those roles.
Right. And my mom is doing that for her mom right now. And my grandma's still talking crazy, doing the most, in a good way. It never changes. Right. But that's the thing, as the owner, it never changes. So now if you change yourself into the child, so to speak, well, who's the parent? If you change yourself into the employee, who's the parent? Right? So it doesn't matter if you're playing with your kids, you're still the parent. You play Tonka trucks, you can play Barbies, you're still the parent. Somebody still got to get up and cook the dinner. Somebody still got to get up and put gas in the car. Somebody still has to maintain the vision of the house, right? Of the thing. And that's what an owner does. It's the visionary. Doesn't mean you don't do labor. It just means that you don't justify yourself or identify yourself as that. I'm the owner, so I'm here laboring because this is the best use of me today. That's what an owner does. They figure out what's the best use of me today. That is a mentality. That is a thought. That is a thinking process. And most of us are not thinking like owners. We're thinking like earners. So a lot of times, even though we're owners, we're not running a business. We're running a hustle. That's why everything feels like a race, a turnaround. It feels like an obstacle course. Right? We're over scaling walls, scaling problems, going through it, getting over it, going over it. The Lord you're holding the Lord's unchanging hand every day. Right? You run around like you're Tom Cruise, jumping off a plane and holding on to the fenders of a car and running down the middle of the street with no shirt on, like you Will Smith or something. Like everything it's not a business, it's an action movie. Right? You don't have any peace, you don't have any joy, you don't have any calm. It's just you're hurdling, right? You're running an obstacle course. But that's what happens when you're earning if there's no owner. The owner has to set the vision. The owner has to make sure that everything is in the right place so that the earners can do their job. Right? You get your mind in the right place, and then you use your body to do your job, to do its job. Your body's only physical. It can only do physical things. Your consciousness is consciousness. And so it's not physical. So it uses the body to do the physical things that it's aware need to be done. It's like a gas pedal and a steering wheel. They're independent, but you got to use them collectively to have a smooth ride. Right? The owner needs the employees, and the employees need the owner. It's not that one is better than the other, but they have two different functions. Right? And it's like a laborer acting like an owner is like an owner acting like a laborer. They just it doesn't really work well. Doesn't work well, right? Okay. All right. I don't want to say this. Will you pull up slide 2? There you go. All right. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold from those whose walk is blameless. So, the Lord God, who is that?
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am. So I am is a sun and shield. I am sun and shield. What does that mean?
The light and the protector.
Basically, the light, the protector, right? Okay. So I am is the light and the protector. I am is your light and protector. I am is your way and your truth. That's what light represents in a lot of different ways. All right. Right? Now, the Lord, who is that?
I am.
I am. So I am does what? Bestows favor and honor. Bestows favor and honor. So who gives favor and honor? Who bestows favor and honor?
I am.
I am. Are you sure?
Yes.
Are we? So you're saying it's not your boss? You're saying it's not your job? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. If I am the Lord,
Okay, well, I am is the Lord is showing you right there. For the Lord God, I am is the Lord God. So that's the sun, that's the shield. The Lord, that same Lord, I am, bestows favor and honor. So the Lord, so I am bestows favor and honor on who?
myself,
On yourself. So it's not your boss or it's not your job. It's not Instagram or TikTok. That's what you're saying? Is that what we're saying? Hello? Don't get quiet now.
This is like a setup. We don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Establish who we think God is, or who we think the whatever we're praying to is, who we think our salvation is. Because
some
if
outside
a
source.
lot of people, I think it's TikTok. I think it's your cousin. I think it's your boss. I think it's your relationship. I think it's your money. I think it's all the things that are supposed to be serving you, you're serving. Thinking that if you serve them, you're going to get some favor and you're going to get some honor, that they're going to be your sun and shield. So when you loan them $50 and then they 2 years ago, and then you say, hey girl, can I get $50? Oh girl, I ain't got it. You always asking me for money. You're like, wait a minute. I gave you $50 2 years ago. Now you got your feelings hurt. Because you think they're supposed to be your son and your shield. And they're supposed to give you favor and honor. But only the Lord does that. What does it say? No good thing does he withhold. So no good thing does he. Who is he?
I am.
Hello, is that it? Just you? I am. No good thing does I am withhold from who? From those whose walk is blameless. What is a blameless walk?
Is that like the walk of shame?
Then why would it be blameless?
Oh, never mind. ESL.
Without condemnation.
Okay. Yes, close. Whose walk is blameless? So you can walk without condemnation
if you are I am operating in your I am.
Basically, if you know who you are, which is I am. Your awareness, your own consciousness is your sun and your shield. It is your light. It is your protector. It is your way. It is your truth. It is your life. Your own awareness bestows the favor and honor that you are chasing in and from and with other things and everyone else. Your awareness is that. You're chasing things outside of you, thinking if you're nice to somebody, if you do 100 posts, if you go to work 7 days, in a row, or 70 days in a row, if you work 29 hours a day, if you never take a day off, if you don't, see your kids ever because you're at work, you think you're going to get something. So you're always doing something to get something, when the thing that you're doing to get is already with you as you, but you're just unaware of it. Those whose walk is a blameless are the people who know who they are. I know that I am. So everything that I would be chasing on the outside trying to get, I just realized all I have to do is rearrange my awareness of being and identify myself with whatever I'm chasing. So I'm chasing health. Well, I'm chasing health because I don't realize that I am is health. Where do you think the concept of health came from? Where do you think it comes from? So all you have to do is identify yourself as you are. I am health. Therefore, the expression of that is I am healthy. That's my identity. So my identity is going to do what we said earlier before. My identity is then going to express itself. I've sold my identity into an expression. So expression is my expression. Who am I? So when you say, well, what can I choose? I can choose whatever I want. I can choose whatever identity. That is the free will you have here. It's not physical, it's mental. It is the choice that you have to choose anything you want to be, do, or have. And identify yourself as that thing. So I am healthy. Okay, I am health. My awareness is health itself. When I'm thinking properly, I am healthy. That's what I am is God, is the name of God. Is God sick? Can you imagine if God had the flu and was out for 2 weeks? Right, right? But we think it's something else. But what did Jesus say? I don't consider it robbery to call myself equal with God. I and my Father are one. I only do what I see the Father do. It's not me that does the work, it's my Father in me. Right? Jesus, right, is your higher mind, your true self, your true mind in physical form. I know you can't read it, I'm just writing while I'm talking. It is you in physical form. That's why it says, let that mind that's in Christ be also in you. So if you have the mind that's set as someone else, then you become the same thing, essentially. You're supposed to know who you are. When you know who you are, you stop chasing things. And you start assuming yourself to be the thing you're chasing. You think you got to work hard for an outcome. What is that outcome? What is it? Rich? What is it? Wealth? What is it? Freedom? Do you think God is not all those things already? Rich, wealthy, and free? So what are you working for? Something you already are. You already said you're I am. So everything you would be chasing in your humanity, you already are I am. But what does it say? This is when it talks about a blameless walk. If you don't know who you are, you're not blameless. Because then what do? You use the name of the Lord in vain. I'm broke. I'm sick. And those who use the name of the Lord in vain will not be held blameless. So you won't be walking blameless. So then you may not be walking. You may not be buying. You may not be affording. You may not be winning. You're not blameless. You're walking as something else, as something you're not. You are all that is and all that will ever be. And all it takes is for you to identify yourself as the thing that you're chasing, that you're working hard for, that you're grinding for, that you're putting in that work for. You already are it. Rich, wealthy, God's not any of those things right now. So that means if God is those things right now and God is I am, that means you are those things right now, but you won't identify yourself with it. You won't identify yourself with it until you get it. But that's why you're always chasing it. So when I see most people, I don't see them. What I see is the character. What I see is the character or the cartoon. I see Wile E. Coyote chasing the Roadrunner. And you know why we laugh at that all the time? Because we know no matter how hard Wile E. Coyote works, he's never going to catch the Roadrunner. And the Roadrunner laughing, beat, running right by you, and you jumping off the cliff, you dying every episode, things landing on you, and blew up your own finger. You didn't tore your whole self up trying to get something you are. You already are. But you're chasing things because you don't realize who you are. You're chasing things. Everything that you could want to be, do, or have, you already are. It's just your failure meaning you are not exercising your awareness. It's the failure to recognize that you are that. You're not recognizing that you already are all those things. I think it was Shakespeare who said, you would not have looked for me if you hadn't already found me. The things you think you want, you don't want them for no reason. You already have them. That's why they're part of your awareness, because you think the idea is not real. But what does it say? In the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. In the beginning, consciousness. Who do you think comes up with ideas? Who is that?
We do.
Who's we?
All the I ams.
I am. I am comes up with ideas. So if I am comes with ideas and I am is in the beginning and I am using an idea to create heaven and earth, well then awareness and the physical are created by consciousness. So the physical thing you're chasing was created by consciousness. So you use your consciousness to be aware of being it, and that's how it will become physical in your world. It already exists. It just doesn't exist to you as you are. And how do you know? Because you're chasing it. Why are you chasing it? Because you're saying, I am not. You're aware of not being, so you're chasing to be. But that's why you're always going to chase that thing. And then when you get it, then what? You got to maintain it the same way you got it. So if you chase it to get it, you have to keep chasing it to keep it. Why do you think people please? Why do you think people do all kind of things out of guilt, shame, and well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. They keep trying to find new ways to remain relevant in the eyes of something or someone. Because they're consciously aware of I am not. They're not the thing. They have it, but they're not that. So they're always trying to get it or always trying to keep it. It's always a struggle. Because you're not that identity. That's not who you are. All it takes is a shift in identity. I am not. Okay, the idea came and said, hey, I would like that. Okay, I am that. The riches, the wealth, the success that you want, those are all things that you naturally are. You just identify yourself. I am rich. I am wealthy. I am successful. I am the priority. I am the preference. I am the choice. I am God and there is no other. You have a business. Has anybody ever heard that? Everybody ever heard that line? I am God and there is no other. Anybody ever heard that? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yes, yes.
Yes? Okay. So what if you apply that to business? What if you apply that to your business? What would that look like?
It would have no choice but to be successful because I am God and there is no other. It would have no choice but to be what I want it to be.
Right.
Okay. And so then what does that look like?
My
Lots of
actual
clients.
business. Oh.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, so read it first and then Veronica.
Is it my actual business? It would be thriving. It would be it would be helping people. It would be making lots and lots of money. It would be all of the things that I want it to be.
Okay, Veronica.
Yeah, same thing that she just said. Lots of clients, lots of customers, lots of sales, all the things. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because your face. Okay.
Oh no, I'm looking at the
All right, just checking.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Okay. And somebody put something on the chat. Who was that?
Yes, Candace put everlasting belief and confidence, no excuses. Kamuna put walking like we know rather than what we think we know.
Okay. So, all right. Okay. Watch this. So, you know how they say, like in church, they sing that song, whose report will you believe? Remember that? We shall indeed. Remember that song? Right? Does everybody remember that? Okay. Watch this. So, I am God and there is no other. And I said, what does that look like? How does that compare itself to market saturation?
Because are you saying I am the market, so it can't be saturated?
Well, in one respect. And if that's the case, why is that true?
Because there is no other. I am God.
What?
There is no other market.
There is no, yeah, because what?
Because I am all. I am consciousness.
You are all there is. You are all that is. There is no other market but you. I am God and there is no other. What does that mean? In customer relations means I am God and there is no other. There is no other business for them to pick. There is no other, whatever you do, there is no other thing for people to pick but what you do. I am and there is no other. So that means all they can do is pick me. I'm the choice. I'm the priority. I'm the preference. I'm the one chosen. I'm the one cherished. I'm the one adored. I'm the one they're loyal to. I'm the one they're faithful to. I'm the one they can't get enough of. I'm the one they can't go without.
It's like a song. I'm the one. I'm the one. I'm the one.
Yeah. Right? It's your own little rampage almost. It's the truth. If you walk it through, it's the truth. I am and there is no other. I am. So there you are and there is no other. So if you are and there is no other, whatever's coming out of you, you are and there is no other that either. And so that means if there is no other you, there is no other opposition. There is no one else for them to pick but you. There's no such thing as market saturation. There's market saturation to the earner, to the one whose walk is not blameless, to the one who misuses the law, who says, well, you got to watch the market and you got to do this, and you don't determine your value. Your customers determine your value. That's the stupidest, as I almost got upset. That is the dumbest thing of all time. That is not correct. And I don't say that to any disrespect. I didn't say name any names. I didn't say, that is not true. That's not true. That is a rule. That is a human rule. That is not a law. What does that mean? 2 + 2 is 4. Once you identify the truth, you learn it, you rock with it, it will never change on you. When you go through rules, then you get loopholes. So you pay all your taxes, but they don't. You got a degree and they got a degree, but you're a woman, you can't have it. You're black, you can't. You're white, you can't. Well, you're Jewish, you can't have it. Well, you're a Muslim, you can't have it. You get all human rules. And then you don't know which way is up. Because it's a whole bunch of rules. It's not a law. The law is I am and there is no other. The law is I am the one that bestows favor and honor on you. Your awareness of being does that. And just like there is no one like you, there's no one else can do anything the way you do it. There's no competition, meaning someone working with you to put on something, or no opposition, someone against you. There is no other. You don't have a competitor, someone working with you to put on something. You don't have an opposition. You don't have that. You're not against anyone. You're not going up against anyone. That is humanity's way of looking at things. And it puts that into the brain, and the ego holds on to it. So you always think you're in a race with somebody. You always think it's you versus them. And so you spend all your time on them and not on you. All your time on how you're gonna earn your way into it. But there is no other. There is no other. There is no other person they can pick in your business. You're the only one they see. You're the only one they know. How are you God and there is no other, but there's market saturation? So how are you going to get your stuff up? Where did all the other people come from if you're the only one? You're the only one they see. You're the only one they want. You're the only one they pick. They prefer you. They choose you. They prioritize you. You are the best. You are the greatest. Your business is all they want. They can't go without it. They tell everybody else about it. Every client you get refers somebody else. And every person they refer is better than they were. Each one is better than the next one. This is how you get your stuff off. And this is how you keep it with you, so that you're never chasing those things. You're never chasing customers. They're always coming to you. Who else they gonna go to? There is I am, and there is no other. Right? I am is the one that has your business, right? So that means they're coming to you. I am, and there is no other. Come on down. It's like The Price is Right. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Everybody's swinging down the aisle like, woo! That's you. That's how everybody is coming to your business. That's how everyone should be coming to your business. They can't get enough. Just like Marlon, when he had a business, and when he started up his liquid business thing that he did, and used to send us videos of people trying to break in before the thing was even not open that day, open, period. The business wasn't even open yet. And they were looking at the thing like, that's the way people should be. That's the truth. This is the truth. You keep trying to earn things you own. You keep chasing things that if you would just identify yourself as that. I want $1 million, so I'm gonna work hard. Well, I want $1 million, and so I'm gonna think well. Because what did that Christ mind say? My yoke is easy and my burden is light. So then why would I? But we're always, which one are you gonna pick? Whose report are you gonna believe? Who, right? Choose this day who you serve. You're constantly choosing, right? You're constantly choosing. What are you choosing? The easy road, what humanity tells you got to do? Well, if you're going to choose what humanity tells you have to do, then you might as well start praying to the right person. Then. You might as well start praying to your boss, get you a little shrine, get you some incense, and go on and make it official and get it cracking. Let's just not fake the funk on the whole thing. Let's just do it right. Because if this is who's in charge of my destiny or my future, so to speak, I want to know who it is. Can I speak to the manager? Just let me know who's in charge here. I don't care who it is. Just let me know who it is. Right? Everything that you're chasing, you already are. It's just your lack of awareness of being that. If you would identify yourself as the thing you're chasing, you would see that thing come into your world. Because remember, your identity expresses. So when you identify yourself as the thing you're chasing, you have to express that thing. You don't have to chase it. The reason you have to chase it is because you're not that thing. So you're Wile E. Coyote chasing the Roadrunner. Question, things that came up in the chat.
Shaky said, I have been thinking too small. And then she says, Coach, you have, I think she said, beat me dreaming again. I know I probably didn't say that right. Larissa has a question. How do you balance disbelief and remain humble, or is there such thing?
Humble, people don't know what humble means. And people don't know what meekness means. You know they say in the Bible, the meek shall inherit the earth. Right? So if you inherit something as big as the earth, what do you think meek means? What do you think that means? Soft? What do you think that means? Weak? What do you think that means? A punk? What do you think humble means? So essentially, what those two mean, they're not synonyms. They don't mean the exact same thing. But they both essentially mean like one example, like if you put a bit in the horse's mouth, right? The thing and that you use to pull the reins and it pulls the horse's neck back. That essentially is meekness. It's basically saying you have a thing that you're using to control, and they always use a horse. A lot of times they use things as emotion, right? In the Bible, they use things as emotion. So while wily as a fox or stubborn as a mule or whatever, they're using personifications to explain how things work. But essentially, meekness and humility is the ability to discipline your mind, to focus your mind, and to think highly of yourself as you are, to remember who you are. You don't think more highly of yourself if you know who you are. You think highly of yourself because you know who you are. It's not an underdo or an overdo. It's just a do. It's an understanding, right, of who you really are. So when you know who you are, why would you mistreat someone? You know who you are. You know the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So I don't have to rob you, mistreat you. I don't have to try to get over on doing this to you because I know the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. I know the earth is mine. I know I have everything. If I know if everything I set my hand to prospers, I don't have to get over on you. If I know that I have the victory in all things, I don't have to worry about losing. So I don't have to cheat you. When you know who you are, you're better to the world and the world is better to you. You don't have to, you won't overdo it because there's nothing you can't do. You know how when you're young and you got like $5 in your pocket and you go to the mall back in the day and that $5 is burning a hole in your pocket, you can't wait to spend it. You sprint out the car when your parents drop you off, or when you get off the bus stop, running right to the food court, you spending whatever little money you got on site. But you know how when you get older and you have money, right, and you have enough that day in that moment, you could walk through that same mall and walk out and not buy nothing and feel just as good just because you know you could. It was just because you knew you could. It's the same thing. When you know who you are, there's no reason it wouldn't even appeal to you to do anything so-called bad. It wouldn't appeal to you. You wouldn't feel humility and meekness would be like your left and right foot because you're in your right mind. You're not going to overdo it or underdo it because you know who you are. But humility and meekness and humanity is, well, you need to be humble. Well, what does that mean exactly? To who? About what? What does that mean? Oh, well, oh, wow, I won the lotto. Well, you need to be humble. Well, I ain't even done that with the money yet. Or, oh, well, I play in the NBA. Well, don't forget to be humble. So I have to be your definition of what you think that is. That's not a real thing. Meekness and humility and humanity is not a real thing. That is what happens when you eat of the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. That is why I told you don't do that. Because in your human brain, that the ego basically keeps locked in as you think it is, will tell you this is bad and this is bad and this is bad and this is good and this is bad. And you can't even make sense of your world. Why do bad people, live forever? Why do young, good people die young? You're going to try to use your human mind to figure that out, and you can't. But it's always a law based to everything. As a mind thinks in his heart, so is it. right? According to your faith be it unto you. Whatever you desire when you pray, all these are singular things. You got you here and you take you out of here. It could be through a knife, it could be through a car wreck, it could be through high blood pressure, or it could be through age. You put yourself here and you take yourself out. That's the truth. Our brain will say, is always looking for a reason of why it happens or this or that. But that's why there's people getting car accidents, don't die. There's people getting car accidents, die. There's people jump off roofs and they don't. There's people who do and they do. There's people who got shot and they live. There's people who got shot and didn't. Doesn't matter what you attach a human physical thing to, somebody made it, somebody didn't. One heart attack and they gone. 5 heart attacks and they still here. Oh, I guess I got good genes. I guess I got an Indian in my family. I guess I got, all the stuff we tell ourselves and all the stuff we say, right? Trying to ascribe or trying to figure out why something happens. But only the law tells you that. You get yourself in and you take yourself out. Everything is suicide as far as it is you putting yourself here and you taking yourself out. What you use to do it, you define as good or bad. So then you say, oh, well, they're so young. Oh, well, this happened, this. But only I am does that. Only awareness, only God creates. Nothing can be done without I am. Nothing is done that without it. You are everything. You are all that is. You are, and there is no other. So then how are you going to ascribe your in to they, him, or it? Then why are you chasing they, them, or it? Why are you on here thinking TikTok gonna make you famous? Thinking if you kiss your boss's butt, you gonna get a raise? Thinking if you work 75 hours and 22 minutes that you're gonna be this or that? You're not. You're gonna be what you think you are, because you either won the race before you ran it or not. You are either the winner before you ran or not. You're either the owner or the employee before the day started. You're either the owner or the earner before the day started. You're either sick or healthy before the day started. You just become aware of what you're being, but you are that, right? So these are the things we have to understand for ourselves. We keep trying to make heads of things that we can't using human rules instead of divine law, instead of the thing that 2 + 2 is 4. It never changes. Once you get the understanding of the truth, then it's like, oh, okay, now I can roll with it. I can rock it. I understand how things happen, right? Go ahead.
Larissa has a follow-up question.
Sure.
And what or how do you remain in a state of reverence between my being the representative of I am and knowing how to submit to the I am?
Well, you have to realize who you are, and therefore realize you are I am. You're not submitting to the I am. You are I am. It's almost like that's the prime example of ownership versus ownership, right? You are I am. That's the owner. Larissa, physical form, is the earner. So you are I am. Just because you are I am being Larissa doesn't make you the earner. You're still the owner. So you're not. So you can only submit to yourself. You can't submit to anything else. That's who you are. Is I am. Larissa is how you're expressing yourself. That's how Larissa came into being. It's because I am said, blew the breath of life into Larissa and said, okay, I'm going to now use this. Larissa is a person, a persona, meaning character or mask. It is the physical thing you're using to play a role that I am is using to play a role as it's believing itself to be. So you're always I am. Always, you're always the owner. That is why your life is as a man think, as a mind thinks, so is it. According to your faith, according to your facts, according to what you believe to be true, so are you. It's not a physical thing, it's physically expressed. Right? So it's remembering who you are, that you are I am. You are the Lord God. You are the sun and shield. You are that. You are the one that gives favor and honor. That's you. To yourself by who you are, but who are you? If you believe you're Larissa, then you believe there's hard times. You believe there's struggle. You believe it's hard out here. You believe in tariffs, and you believe in the economy, and you believe in the weather, and you believe in COVID, and you believe in the flu shots, and you believe in the flu, and you believe in I'm just saying, you can find 1,000 different things to believe in, but there's only one thing controlling everything. And once you get the truth, then you line that up and you're straight. Now you're like, I got it. I know that I'm prosperous and in good health, even as my soul prospers. Everything I set my hand to prospers. Of course, my business prospers because everything I set my hand to prospers. And of course, I have more clients that I can get to. Why? Because I'm the only one they know. I am, and there is no other. Of course I succeed. What else should it be? I am, and there is no other. That means I'm the only thinker. And if I'm thinking success, if I think prosperity, then that's the only thing that can happen. Right? I am, and there is no other. That what you are thinking, your consciousness is God, is I am, and there is no other. So when you're thinking it's hard, I gotta wait 2 to 5 years. Oh, but you understand. Oh, but this or that. No, 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 no. That is why these things are happening or not happening for you. Right? You choose. You choose. Right? Choose this day who you serve. Now is the acceptable time. Right? All right. Yes. Question.
Auntie Shaky.
It's hard for me to be speechless, but I don't even know what to ask. I don't know. I'm thankful. I put in the chat. I was like, oh my God, this is my new church. Because you have definitely taken us to church. Maybe I do have a question. So, when things are, let's just say someone puts a demand on you. Let's just say the demand is a bill. Let's just say the demand is yes, in simple terms. Let's just say the demand is a bill,
Okay.
and you do not have in your account the funds to be able to pay that bill.
Yes.
I, and you hear a person say, "Well, I don't have the money to pay that bill. There's nothing I can give you because I don't have the money to pay that bill."
Yes.
What do us as owners, what does I am say to that when the demand is happening now?
Excellent. So let's walk through it. So let me ask you a question. When you are, not you personally, but the person that, like the example, when you have a financial demand and you say, I don't have the money to pay that bill. Great. Okay. My question to you is, who are you aware of being when you say that?
I guess in that scenario, I let's just say let's say it's me for sake of this conversation.
Yes.
At that moment, I guess I am made aware that I am shaky in her human state.
Yes.
Anyway.
So, but who are you aware of being? You said, I have a demand and I don't have the money. So you're saying I don't have the money. Humanity judges the statement, but there is no condemnation to those that are in Christ, meaning in your ownership mind. So as an owner, when you hear somebody say that, what are they saying? What are you saying when you say, when you're aware of saying, I don't have the money? You are identifying yourself as what? I am.
The one that can provide.
Limited.
No, you said I don't have it. Another way of saying that is I am
inefficient. Like I don't have it.
I am not.
I am not.
I
Okay.
am not. I am not. I am an awareness. My awareness is not having it. That's why I'm describing it, right? I'm describing what I'm aware of. If you looked outside your window and I said, Auntie Shaky, what's the weather like? You would look outside and you would describe what you saw.
Yes.
So when you're saying I don't have it, you're describing what you see. So when you're describing what you see, you're describing your location. You're describing where you're operating from in a state of mind. So if you want to see it, if you want to see something different, what do you have to do?
You have to say something different.
Okay. So give me an example. What would you say now?
I have it. I just don't want to give it to you.
Okay. But yes, but you're there. And you can go ahead.
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay, so you're there. So you go from I am not to you go to I am. So I am what? You know what? This bill is paid. You know what? This bill is paid. Or, you know what? I always have more than enough. This bill is paid. Or all my needs are met. My God supplies all my needs now. What you're doing is you're going from I am not to I am. You're switching locations or identities. You're going from the I am that isn't to the I am that is. Because when it says creation is finished, it's not just the physical world, it's consciousness. Everything that you're doing is from a state of consciousness. So when you're expressing that you're looking at that bill, you become aware of, I don't have it. So that bill is just a reflection. It's showing you back what you're thinking of yourself. But a lot of times we don't think about what we're thinking until we see a mirror. Something happens and it reflects back to us and it makes us think about, oh, I got it. Oh, I don't. Oh, I have this much. Oh, I don't. So when you first say something, you're saying, I am not. I don't have the money. Okay, that's not a judgment or criticism. It's an opportunity to realize where you are. Now, in order to become the person who has, you have to change who you're being. So you're going from I am not to I am. I am now. I'm aware of being the person that has it. So you can do that by saying any amount of things. The bill is paid, or my God supplies all my needs now, or I always have more than enough, or all my bills are always paid on time and up front, or whatever else it is. What you're doing is you're changing the identity. You're now redefining yourself as I am. To now what happens?
I say that to the creditor?
You're the one who has it. The one who has it now has access to the means to execute it. You're only shifting identities, which gives you access to new resources. That's why how you identify yourself is so important. It's not positive thinking. It is the awareness of your location. It's the awareness of your identity, and only your identity manifests. So, meaning turn things into physical form. So when you see a physical form you don't like, it's like, okay, let me change who I'm being so I can change what I'm seeing. I am now this person. I'm the person who pays this bill. I'm the person who has this bill paid on time. That is saying, let there be light. Because at the beginning, right, in the Bible, it was dark. And God said, let there be light. But it was dark first. So God was in the dark. Not in a negative thing. It's not negative. Why? Because it would only be negative if God had no ability to get out or to change it. So just because you don't have money for the bill right then, let's say that's the dark. But what did God do? God said, let there be light. So let there be light just means, oh, okay, I'm just going to tell myself something different. I'm aware that there's something I want to be different than what I see currently, dark. I'm going to now tell myself that I have the outcome of what I want to see presently, light. I'm aware of dark, no money. Now I'm going to tell myself, I'm going to make myself aware of having the money, right? But these come from the same being. It's just a different shift in consciousness. I'm now aware of being dark. I want there to be light. I'm aware of being broke. I'm now rich. I'm shifting my identity. The answer of how the bill paid is how the bill is paid is in the identity. The answer is in the identity. It's not in because the identity of I am not cannot pay that bill. It doesn't have, that's why it's not. It means it doesn't have access because it's not. So not will never give you that. But I am, meaning the bill is paid, however you want to say it. Now that identity gives you access to the resources of the identity that has the money. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense. But my mind is again that the demand is now.
Yes.
So
okay.
So if I need to
That's your
pay
question.
it now,
Let me ask you.
yes,
God's name is what?
God's name is I am.
I am. When is I am?
Oh, I am is now. Like that's in the present.
It's not I'm going to be. It's not I got this bill today, but I'm gonna hope to get the money tomorrow. That's not I am. That is I am not. I am. I am is always. I am is your sun and your shield. I am bestows favor and honor upon you. I am does not withhold any good thing to those whose walk is blameless. Our walk is not blameless if we're I am not. Our walk is not blameless if we're I am maybe sometime else, or I am hopefully tomorrow, or I am hopefully next week. No, I am blameless when I say I am whatever I want to be now. I'm that now. That's what I am is now. So that bill is, in the beginning was I am, before the heavens and the earth. I am was before the bill. So I am is not late unless we put it off, unless we misidentify ourselves as well, the bill is now, but I'm now. How could the bill be more real than the bill I made? Right? I am now. So I am now, I am is God. I am, oh, the earth is the Lord's. The earth is I am's and the fullness thereof. So that means you have the money now, but not as I am not, as I am. I have that money right now. That bill is paid right now. Your ego mind, the human mind, the human mind, meaning that in the human mind that rises up to the ego is the human mind on habit. So that's why there's certain things in your life that you do really well and really easy. But for some other people, they're really hard because your ego mind has no problem with things that it's used to. That's what your ego mind is. So if you always have money, if you want to have more money, it's easier. But if you've always been sick, it may be harder. So you can be rich, but be sick, because if you've been sick since you were little, being healthy may be harder for you than making money, right? Both of them are not harder or easier, but it's based on our human experiences. So our human experiences, our ego mind takes those and defines those as truth and reality and doesn't want to change it or move it. So your ego mind will say, yeah, but you ain't got the money. Yeah, but your ego mind is part of your humanity, and your humanity was created. And I am was before humanity, and I am owns everything. And I am is you. You are not human. You are making a human alive, but you're not human. You're I am. That's why you say, I am Auntie Shaky. I am rich. I am a woman. You're always saying who you are. And I am is the one giving life to everything you put after it. A woman is only real because I am is it. Auntie Shaky is only real because I am is it. I am is playing the role of Auntie Shaky. I am is playing the role of being a woman, right? I am is doing that. I am owns everything. You keep saying you're I am, so you own that right now. That bill is paid. Whatever you desire when you pray, whatever. There is no labor, there is no condition except believing you have it. It says, believe that you have received. That's present past, let's say. So you're still not late. You're never late. If you can think of it now, you can have it right now. We put things off in the future because why? We use human way. Well, we got to work for it. We got to earn it. Well, I can't see it. Well, you can't see 3 blocks down your street either. That doesn't mean things aren't happening. You just can't see it. But if you got in your car, you'd see it. So that means it does exist. You just can't see it from where you are. That money, in this example, that money does exist. We just can't see it from that location, from that state of mind we're occupying. And when we change our state of mind, we change our location, we change our identity, and we go from I am not to I am. And I am has it right now, because that's all I am is. I am ain't later. I am ain't tomorrow. Because if you're thinking about tomorrow, when are you thinking about it? Right now. If you think about yesterday, when are you thinking about it? Right now. And when you get to tomorrow, let's say, when will it be? Right now. There's only now.
So I have a quick question to that. Just believing in all of that, how do you translate that belief into the action to get that money right now? Because that demand is still very present. If a bill is due, and my believing that I am, and honestly standing on that, but the real issue is still at hand that I don't have the physical money to pay for this bill, this demand right now.
How is the issue still real if you said that you are the person who has it? It can't be both. What to say?
So I'm asking, how do you make that actionable? Because if you don't have the money at this moment, is there an action that you're going to have to put in to align with the belief to attain that money?
That action will come out of your new identity of the fact that you're telling yourself, I do have it. Your action always comes out of your identity. If you don't change your identity, your action won't do anything because you're still in the identity of I don't have it. So when you turn into the identity, I do have it, why are we doing that? Because we want to have it. But it's not because we don't have it. The earth is the Lord's. Everything is here right now. So now you're going from I am not to I am. So you're saying, I have this bill I need to pay. Okay, I'm now the person who paid this bill. Well, when you become that identity, when that's who you tell yourself you are, then all the resources of that identity become open to you. But if you tell yourself you are, and then you look out there and say, well, I still don't have it, then you're not. Because only I am not would say I don't have it. I am says I do have it. You can't be both. You can only be one or the other. That's double-minded. Meaning, that's why it says a double-minded mind is unstable in all its ways. Let it not think it'll receive anything. You can't be I am and I am not. You can only be one or the other. So when you're looking at that bill, you look at it and say, okay, this needs to be paid right now. I see it. Okay, great. This bill is paid. I am is present right now. So this bill is paid. Okay, so then now I am that. So then now all of my actions, whatever needs to be done, will be done. I don't know what that is in my human mind, but I know what that is in my higher mind. Why? Because I know what I'm identifying as, right? I'm running the race as a winner. My end is already guaranteed because I've already decided who I was before I ran. So I am, this bill is paid. So you may be sitting down and somebody may call you. You may be sitting down and you may find money in your purse. You may be walking down the street and it could be any amount of ways. That's why it says my ways are higher than your ways. I have ways and means you know not of. Your human mind will try to get you to make a plan or have an action. But if it had a plan or an action, you wouldn't be praying. If it already knew what to do. It doesn't. You're at your wit's end. But your higher mind, your true nature, who you really are, that's when the tax guy came to Jesus and said, hey, do you pay your taxes? Or the disciple came to him, he said, yeah, I pay my taxes. He said, go in there, go to the lake, get the first fish, and pull the gold out of the fish's mouth. That awareness knows where all of its resources are and calls upon them when needed or desired. So when that bill is in your face, you tell yourself, I am the person who paid it. Right now, I am that. This bill is paid. Now you're the person who paid the bill. So when you're the person who paid the bill, you're saying, I believe I have received, and you will. You're now the person who has received, so you can. But that's why it says in the book, to him that has, even more will be given. To him that has not, even what they have will be taken. Because you're in whatever you're aware of being, you're always going to get more of. More lack, more loss, or more abundance and prosperity. You're always getting more of what you have. That's why if you don't change who you're being, you will not stop seeing what you're seeing. It'll be this bill, and you may get it paid, but then there'll be another one. It'll be another one and another one, because your expression, your experiences you're going through are based on your identity. The bill is just an effect. It's not a cause. The bill that you can't pay is an effect. It's not a cause. So when you change the cause, the bill doesn't matter anymore, because now you're the person who isn't. And from that identity, from that awareness, the answers come, because they can only come to the person who has it, not to the person who doesn't. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Okay. Right. That is the most challenging thing for people to understand is when we say I see you, Monique. When it says we create our own reality, we really have to understand what that means. When we say create our reality, when we say reality, we're talking about the physical experiences that we have. And if we're saying create, so we're saying that there's physical experiences we have that we're creating. Well, how do we create? We create by the thoughts and feelings and beliefs, the mindset. We create by the ways we think dominantly. What we think about ourselves. What we think about ourselves is who we are. And who we are is who we're being. And who we're being, we create it or we produce in physical form. So when we're aware of being broke, when we're aware of not having enough, when we're aware of not having our needs met, that is what we are going to create in reality. Those are going to be the physical things that we are going to see as a mirrored reflection of us. The world is nothing but a mirror. Everything in every area of your life is you in physical form. Your relationships, your money, your health, your business, all of those areas are you in physical form. So if you don't change you, the form can't change. It's like trying to get the mirror to smile before you do. Right? So what we have to understand is that in those moments, it may feel like it's different because our humanity is telling there's pressure, but it still works the same. It's still 2 + 2 is 4, no matter how fast you say it. No matter whether you got to speed say it, whether you can write it, speak it, but the truth is always the truth. And the truth is, you already have everything right now. It's just our failure to believe it. It's our failure to identify ourselves with that end or as that end. And we hesitate to do that because we can't see it. But we have to understand that whatever we see is nothing but the physical manifestation of what was first invisible. Everything starts from the same place. So we have to change the cause, and the cause changes the effect. We're trying to look as a human with an effect and trying to change it with another effect, and you can't do that. You can only change it with the cause, and your cause is the awareness of being. I am not causes everything that is not. I am causes everything that is. So that's why it's so important what you say to yourself about every area of your life. Right? Every area of your life. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Greater is your awareness in you than anything outside of you. Everything you set your hand to prospers. You have the victory in all things. All of your needs are met. My God shall supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory in Christ. Christ is the power and wisdom in you. There's a power and wisdom that knows how to do everything, but it's only doing it according to who you're aware of being. And if you're I am not looking at the bill saying I ain't got it, you're saying I am not. Who is looking? Who is saying I am not? Who is saying I don't have it? That is what you're getting in physical form, the person who's saying I don't. So we just have to go from I don't, I do not, to I do, to I am, to I have. And then you will see that. In whatever way it needs to come to you, it will come. It's because it's already present. You just can't see it as you were, but now you will see it as you are.
It's like when
Oh, hold on, Leanne.
you're.
Monique had her hand.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes.
I just wanted to share my story regarding what you're saying, where it happened twice, but I'll just share one. Specifically, I was so worried about payroll, and it had just turned Happy New Year. And I'm like, man, how I'm gonna meet this payroll? And I'm panicking and I'm looking for different ways. And I said, wait a minute, if everything is already created, then that means payroll was already paid. So I just said, I'm not worried about it. The how is none of my business. And I just let it go. And I said all the things. I'm creator of my reality. Blah, 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 all the things. And as I'm sitting here in this very space, I heard a voice say, send parents an email for summer camp. And I'm like, it's January. Ain't nobody buying no summer camp in January. So now I'm trying to argue for my limitations. And then I heard again, sell summer camp. So I sent the email out. And within an hour, 3 parents signed up for summer camp and paid in full for the whole summer. And it was because I just let go of, I gotta make this happen. I gotta make this happen. You can't make it. I couldn't make it happen with my human self. So I just had to let go. And not that that's it. Thank you.
That's perfect. See what I mean? That's perfect. Right? She said, hey, this bill was in her face. I remember when she sent me the thing. I was in Southern California seeing my parents. I remember when she sent me the thing and I was so excited because she proved it. Because what you say, in my human limitation, I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what else to do, but I still want this thing. But so what did she say? Well, I know creation's finished. So I know there is a version of my reality where this bill is paid, where this payroll is paid. So all I have to do is become that version. All I have to do is identify myself with that version of me. And then, so by saying, I am that, I've attached my awareness to that outcome. I am that. Now I've given the opportunity for that outcome to become reality, physically expressed in my world. It already exists, but without my awareness saying, I am that outcome, I'm separated from it. So I can't ever see it. So I am that bill paid. That bill is paid. And what you say, I sat there, I told myself that, and an idea that came to now the person whose payroll is paid, summer camp in January. And they paid it off, like she said, and she was able to pay all her payroll, and she said she had something left over when she told me the story. All from right there. Didn't go anywhere, didn't call anybody, didn't do anything except listen. So the answer is in your identity. You change your identity from I am not, so I can't afford this, or I can't pay this, to I am, so it's paid. So now I am paid, which is going to give you whatever it needs to show up in physical form. That's how this works. It's not a physical thing. You're the owner. So you decide the end. The end is this bill is paid. I am that. This bill is paid. And that's how it is. Right? Leanne?
It's like when you're thinking with your human mind, you're looking through the peephole of a door and you only see limited possibilities on the other side with your human mind. But when you open up to I am, all the ideas and all the thoughts come in because you're now allowing them. So the answers are all there.
Mm-hmm.
You just open up to receive them.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. It's like me trying to see, Auntie Shaky in Georgia. I can't see her from here. I can't. It's limited. I got this screen and that's all I got. Right? But if I want to see her in person, if I want to see this bill paid, I have to go to where she is. I have to go in mind to where the bill is paid in my mind. Then I can see her. I could want to see her all, but I'm separate from her right now. So I only have the screen. I only have the awareness of seeing her, but I can't hug her. I can't say hi to her, not physically. I have to go to where she is. You go to that place in your mind of already being the answer. I am the answer. That bill is paid. Or my child's in college. Or I make 10,000 a week. Or you identify yourself with your desired end as your desired end. And now with that identity, the answers come to that identity. The answers come from that identity. You only can manifest. You can only see who you're being. And as long as you remain I am not, that one bill ain't gonna be the only thing that'll be I am not. There'll be a whole lot of other things that won't be, right? So that's all right. Sarita.
I am is so amazing because Leanne really just was saying what I was thinking. That it's so easy for us to identify with the human part of it because that's what we see, that's what we know. But when we open our mind to I am, it gets so much greater. So when she started speaking, I was like, wow, that was nothing but I am just confirming and saying it's so easy to identify with what we see every day, what we feel every day, but it's and that's our human part of it. But when we open ourselves up to I am, it really expands our bandwidth. It expands all of it. And it's not just the physical aspect of it. So thank you to the I am and Leanne.
Yeah, it's what. So last thing I'll say to you guys, I'm gonna let you guys get out. The whole thing is, right? The whole thing is your brain, your ego mind, your brain mind is limited. And that's okay. That's what it's designed for. It's limited. It only does certain things, it's not limited. It only has certain functions. It's only designed to do certain things. That's a better way of saying it. It's not limited. It's only designed to do certain things. But once you understand that you have used it for all you can use it for, then it's like a checking account. You can't keep overdrawing it. You can't keep trying to get it to do something that it's not designed to do. And so when you come to a point where you're just like, okay, well, I don't know, then let me ask, let me go to my divine mind. Okay, well, I want this. I know what I want, but I don't have a human mind way of getting it. But I know where to get it from, and I know how to get it. So I know where to get it from, myself, I am, and I know how to get it by identifying myself as that thing. I am now that thing. And as a result of that, that is what manifests. Being who I am being is what I'm seeing in physical form in every area of my life. So I know how to get it from I am. And I know where to get it from I am and how to get it by identifying myself as my desired end, as the end. My brain doesn't understand that, but my brain is not the one where the resources are coming from, right? My divine mind, my true mind is where the resources are and where they come from. And by identifying myself with using my mind to identify myself with that, then that is where I get, now that I'm the identity, I get all the answers to, right? Things will, it is, you have to be willing to say, let there be light while there's dark. You have to be willing to say the bill is paid while it looks like there's nothing in your account, because that's how you'll see it to be true. You have to be willing to say payroll is paid because that reality is true. That's quantum physics. Everything exists at once. And only what you're seeing is based on what you have focused your attention on. That's what you're basically bringing out, is what you have focused your attention on, right? That is the reality that you're seeing, but all reality exists. And so when you're willing to change who you're being, you'll change what you're seeing. And a lot of times, I always say it all the time, our dreams are not too big. The methods to receive them are too small. Oh, I want to be a millionaire, but I got to do this, but I can't do that. I can only, we have this big thing and we shut the lanes to it so small, we can't get it. It's not that it doesn't exist or that we can't have it. It's just that we condition ourselves and limit ourselves. And we put so much on ourselves that we're not able to actually receive the thing we want because it has to be this way, or it has to be that way. It can come anyway. Leave it wide open. I am a millionaire. That bill is paid. And just stand on that. Just stand on it, and you'll see it happen. You will see it in ways you would have never thought of. But when we try to figure out how it's going to work, we don't realize we're limiting it. We're conditioning it, right? And we're choking off the garden hose, and the water starts, stopping because we're choking it off, right? With all our limitations and conditions and reasons, and we have to be realistic and all the other stuff, right? I am is outside reality. Outside, I am is reality. It's the creator of it. So you are being realistic when you're using your awareness of being and choosing who that are, right? Karen.
Oh, Hi, everybody. First of all, can I just say hello and greetings to my favorite auntie, Auntie Shaky, sending love and hugs. Um, the analogy that I like that is really helpful is planting the seed in the dirt. You don't go every day and look to see what the seed is doing. The seed stays in the dirt, and the seed then grows into whatever it's supposed to grow into, the tree, and the tree bears fruit over and out. And staying in that place, the person who asked, how do you get this to happen? It sort of triggered my mind. You don't have to do anything to make it happen or see it happen. It just happens. The opportunities, like summer camp in January. It just happens. Like every time I go to my mailbox, there's a check. It just happens. And I love the happenings. So thank you so much. This is awesome. You all been to the gym with me, the car wash, things I had to do, but I was here.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yep, awareness has an answer for everything. 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 is something, or 2 × 2 is something, right? 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 is like 2 + 5. So you can just do, well, what's 2 × 5? There's faster. So the bill can be paid. You got 3 days. Okay, cool. You got 3 minutes. Okay, cool. So you can use addition, multiplication, division, exponents. The math is all truth, but you can use certain levels to get to the answer faster. Your awareness knows how to get everything because everything is already created. All you're doing is moving to the place where it's already so by identifying yourself as that need. All right, Vanessa, anything you want to say?
Yeah, no, I want to thank everyone for coming today. It was such a great call. And honestly, y'all, this is a sample of what we do in the youth circle, smaller group. We meet twice a week, and then you get a one-on-one with Coach Lucky. And I just want to welcome Shaky to the circle because I see that you signed up. So we're excited to have you. And we'll be getting some more of you in our circle. So I love that. But I'm going to drop the link again one more time in the chat. Also, we do this every Saturday. If you guys are all, if you're not subscribed and you want to subscribe to get the notifications for the call, I'll drop that link. I do my best to drop the link in the communities that I'm in, but I may be traveling, I may be on the go and not be able to do it every time. So if you subscribe, you'll get the link yourself. Today was amazing. Thank you, Coach Lucky. And yeah, we'll see you all next week.
Yes. All right. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for coming. Tell your friends. How's your kids? How's your wife? Have a great time.